Hey guys, this is Pedro back with another interview, this time covering VCT EMEA Stage 1 for playoffs. My guest at this time is Keiko of Team Liquid, coming off of their match against NAVI, in which they came out on the winning end, thus moving on into the third round of the lower bracket in said competition. And so, Kiko, thank you so much for the opportunity. Really do appreciate it. And congrats on the victory, as I said before. Navi was coming into this with a lot of momentum, a lot of drive to bounce back from their own results. And so, for you guys to take them down, I want to ask you first and foremost, how are you feeling?
Relieved. It was a very hard game. We kind of were zoned out at the beginning of the map on Icebox. I think that each of us were just making too many hero plays on the first map, but I liked how we reset. The split and Ascent was really good. We did throw on Ascent one crazy round, this anti-eco round. Not much to say about that, but I liked how the team reset, to be honest.
It was a tiny blip in the team's overall performance in today against Navi, and you kind of mentioned right there a little bit as to what happened in Icebox. I mean, it was a pretty back and forth type of affair. I mean, sure, like the team lost, but at the very least, you guys showed some adversity or some overcoming adversity, especially on that second half on attacking side, in which like going down from 8-4, from an 8-4 deficit definitely showed the mettle of this team. And so, like, how did you view the team's like performance in Icebox to start off? Just covering that aspect.
Oh, I mean, our performance in Icebox was abysmal, but I mean, it was 11-13. I think that it was the one of the worst games we've ever played in terms of like everything, to be honest. Decision making, team attitude, everything like this. But I think we woke up after that. But yeah, it was one of the worst games we've ever played, but it was still close, to be honest.
At the very least, you had that second opportunity in that second map to just sort of like finally focus onto the task at hand. And so, like, what was the conversations like within the team following that first map? What did you say to the team? What did like Matt say to the team, or anyone else? Maybe Lohan or maybe Yeltsin. What was going on there after map one?
Lohan gave us a really big talking to. I would say it like that. He told us. He was pretty harsh on us, but like I think it woke us up. Nats too, IS too. He gave us a talk about playing together. I think that we were trying to make too many hero plays, each individual of us. We have some really strong individuals here, but I think we lost the path a little bit. But it was it was a really good wake up call from both of them. To be honest, it really pulled us through.
Yeah, and then that led to Split and Ascent. I mean, for Split, it's kind of like automatic W, it seems, for Team Liquid, and so
Yeah.
not much to talk about there. But on Ascent, there was a little bit of a more back and forth affair, as you kind of been talking about earlier on in the conversation, and then you guys pulled away on a defensive side once that second half started, and so from the start of second half, winning those that the pistol and the eco. What do you think just prove the difference? What do you think allowed you guys to pull away for good?
I don't. I mean, to be honest, it wasn't close at all. We threw completely anti-eco this round where we break the door to farm orbs. Crazy round to lose. A second round that we lost was this 1v2 against Shao. He's spamming Patty, kills me in the back behind him. Crazy round again. I think we all knew that it should be a 9-3 half. We're much better than them on this map, and yeah, I mean on the defense we were completely fine, to be honest. It wasn't. I don't think anyone was stressed that we were ever going to lose this Ascent map. But yeah, I liked how how we changed in attitude. We were more relaxed, and I think it gave us the confidence again. We've had a hard 2 days in terms of like some really close games that we should have won. We're losing so many clutches, losing so many situations that we don't normally do. But I'm glad to have that win to give us some momentum for the next games.
I think good like encapsulation of like today's like one run I believe was like in second half of Ascent. I think it was Hero that pulled off a clutch like 1v3 or something like that, and then like literally the round after that it was I think it was you that did the clutch as well, and then that kind of pulled the momentum back towards your team, and then that kind of closed it from that point on. And no, for sure, I mean, definitely a good way to recover from that first match that you played for this weekend. And obviously, I'm talking about what happened in that match against Fnatic. And, over into that match, it was a much more closer affair in that sense. Like, almost every map went to overtime. I think it was like map one in which only like had like one round left from like being full in terms of regulation time. Um, Walk me through how difficult it was for you guys to like absorb that result, receive it, and then try to move on from then to today.
Yeah, I mean, yesterday was an exciting match in terms of Fnatic. I think we knew that it could have gone either way. Some situations we just should have won, didn't win. There's nothing about them. It's more about us. I think we tried to focus on ourselves, trying to, play some more disciplined Valorant. We play super, super scrappy and a lot of based on individual ability. But yeah, I think that's what made Icebox so shaky. We're just too zoned in on trying to play super structured Valorant. But yeah, I think it was more like understanding that it's on us, to be honest, these games, and it's just on what we can control.
Mhm. And no doubt you guys took that you took that and utilized it for today. And as it stands right now, Team Liquid now only needs one more match win to finally secure a spot in Masters Toronto. You already got Fnatic and Team Heretics punching their ticket into Canada, and with now the only obstacle left being BBO. How do you kind of look at that matchup? What's the confidence level that you guys can take it home against your upcoming opponent?
Um, to be honest, us and BBL, we have very similar play styles. We are super aggressive teams and super explosive. And I think it just depends on who plays better in the chaos. I think that both teams have really good individuals, and especially Yampi. I'm sure he'll be giving it tomorrow and just giving the energy. So we'll see. Yeah, we'll see what happens.
A lot of spice to be considered, that's for sure. And
Yeah.
um, one other thing that I want to ask you about is it's sort of the trajectory of this Team Liquid squad so far in stage one. I mean, sure, like you guys had to like move on from Masters Bangkok and then learn from that. You brought in a new player in Serial for Kamek and then having to slot him into to his role and then technically start over from there. You guys had that opening match loss to Gentlemates, and then from that point on, you guys went over to finish this group on first place, and then moved on to face Fnatic, and then we all know the story from that point on. What I'm trying to say though is, how have you viewed the team's trajectory so far? What has been the biggest takeaways, and also like the biggest strengths and weaknesses that you've seen from this Team Liquid squad that you feel maybe kind of like can be a pivotal point for you guys' performance tomorrow and then everything beyond that.
I think it's a lot to do with Nats and Lohan. I think Ayaz is one of the best IGLs in the world currently in terms of fragging, cooling wise, and also the system that Lohan has built around him. And yeah, I think that it's just the structure that we have, the staff, the IGL. They're taking care of a lot of things. It lets the players do a lot of focus just on more on playing. And I think everyone really trusts in the staff and the IGL. So I think it gives us like a clear direction.
With that said, I want to ask, like, how has that kind of affected your game? Because, like, taking a look now onto like the overall individual standings of like including group stage and also regular season, you are currently second place overall in rating according to VLR, and pretty good
Mm.
performance, I would say. But two-part question in that: how has their tweaking, like Lohan and Nat's calling and his dynamic, has affected your individual play? And also on top of that, how have you viewed your individual play?
I mean, Lohan and Nats let me do whatever the fuck I want, basically. They trusted me to do whatever, and they just, you know, I think they trust me a lot, and it gives me just freedom to feel the game. And I'm a very like instinctual player. I just play on based on my feeling. But also, VLR rating is complete cap, so I don't really care about that. I think my performance has been worse than kickoff, but I'm trying to get better and really just try to play better. I think I've been underperforming in a lot of these like recent games, and I'm happy today I played well. But I wish, like for example, Fnatic game I played better. Like there's a lot of games I wish I played better, and yeah, I'm just trying to, you know, I don't know. I'm trying to get back to my old kickoff form because I think that was when I was playing the best. But yeah.
I was about to ask about that, like whether right now is like you feel you're at the best like that you've ever played, and you can set it right there, kick off, and hopefully you're able to reach that point much sooner rather than later. One more question I want to ask you before I wrap up because I'm going overall on the time limit. You said it right there. VLR ratings are capped. Why is it capped for you?
It just rates smokes players so highly for some reason. I feel like the assists, like some, I don't know. I feel like duelist players get completely shut down. I feel like Camo, he should be much higher rated just because he's creating so much space, creating so much opportunities for everyone else because he's taking so much control. And it just doesn't see the impact inside of the team and stuff like this. But, whatever. I mean, I'm happy. I'm a smokes player, but like,
Yeah.
I don't believe in the rating. I think just focus on other statistics if you actually even care about the game. If you just watch the game and see.
Just watch the game indeed, and that's what we'll exactly keep on doing with this Team Liquid squad. Of course, for your individual play, Keiko. So that's it. I'm going to wrap up the interview right here. Thank you so much for the opportunity for the interview once again. Congrats on the victory, and of course, best of luck for next week, man.
Thank you so much.